My name is Serena Vale, 23 years old. I stand frozen in my parents' living room, unable to process what I'm seeing. My suitcase lies open on the rug, clothes spilling out like evidence at a crime scene, bright fabrics against the beige carpet. Dad is in the center of the chaos, clenching 5 crisp $100 bills in his trembling hand, his face a dangerous shade of crimson. For a second, I can't hear anything, just the pounding of my own heart in my ears. On the mantel above him, the family photo from my college graduation just 3 weeks ago seems to mock me with its captured happiness. We're all smiling in that picture, arms linked, sunlight catching my cap and gown. I remember thinking it was the first time in years we actually looked like a normal family. Now that same frame feels like a prop in some cruel play. "Dad, that's not mine," I say. My voice sounds hollow, like it's coming from another room. I would never steal from Kayla. In the corner, my 20-year-old sister sobs dramatically, shoulders heaving with perfect rhythmic breaths, like she's rehearsed this scene in the mirror. Her mascara trails down her cheeks in neat little rivers. "I was saving that money," she whimpers between gasps. "For my car payment. I don't even care about the money. She swallows, voice breaking at the exact right moment. "I just don't know why she'd do this to me." Dad's eyes, usually warm when they land on me, have turned to ice. In his world, evidence is evidence and tears are proof. The money was found in my suitcase, therefore I am guilty. End of story. Serena. He spits my name like it tastes bad. 23 years old, a college graduate, and this is how you behave? I flinch at the way he says it, like I've dragged the family name through mud instead of dragging myself through 4 years of classes and part-time jobs. "I didn't take it," I say, louder now, feeling the words scrape my throat. "Someone put it there." Dad's laugh is short and harsh. "Someone? Who? Serena? The money fairy?" He steps forward and kicks my suitcase. My carefully folded clothes spill out further, scattering across the floor. The professional outfits I saved for my new job in Denver, blouses, slacks, sensible heels, flop onto the carpet like they've been evicted too. These are the things I bought with 4 years of late-night shifts and ramen dinners, the wardrobe I imagined walking into a sleek office with. Now they're just props in my public shaming. Behind him, Mom stands in the doorway, twisting her hands in the hem of her cardigan. Celeste. She has that look again, the one that says she hates this but not enough to stop it. "Mom?" I plead. She avoids my eyes, staring at a spot somewhere over my shoulder. From the window, I catch a flicker of movement. Mrs. Peterson next door is peeking through her lace curtains, mouth pressed into a disapproving little line. By nightfall, everyone on the block will know that the good daughter, the one who went away to college, is actually a thief. "Get out of this house," Dad growls. "Now, before you embarrass us any further." Kayla's sobbing intensifies, almost as if he's given her a cue. "She probably just wanted new clothes for her fancy city job," Kayla says, voice shaking with the most delicate sorrow. "I'm not even mad. I just wish she'd asked." Her words land like tiny knives. She's rewriting the story in real time. Generous younger sister, ungrateful older sister, tragic misunderstanding. Watching her, I remember a science fair in 8th grade when she took credit for the solar system model I stayed up 3 nights building. I remember the high school dance fundraiser she told everyone she'd organized after I spent weeks planning it. Back then I let it go. I always let it go. "Serena, just admit it," Dad says, his voice softening like this is some kind of mercy. "Apologize to your sister, and we can put this behind us." Behind us, as if an apology would stitch this moment into something harmless, like a minor teenage mistake instead of the complete demolition of who they think I am. I kneel down, fingers shaking as I grab an armful of clothes, and something shifts inside me. The old instinct, to smooth things over, to take the blame so everyone calms down, rises for a second like muscle memory. Then, for the first time in my life, I push it down. "I didn't take anything," I say, my spine straightening as I rise. This time, my voice doesn't wobble. "I have never stolen a single thing in my life, not from Kayla, not from anyone." Dad's jaw tightens. He holds up the money like a prosecutor with Exhibit A. "The bills were in your suitcase." "Yes," I say, "in my suitcase, which has been sitting in the guest room unlocked for 3 days, in a house where everyone knows I keep my things." I glance at Kayla. For the briefest second, her sobbing falters. The break is tiny, a flicker in her performance, but I see it. Mom doesn't. Dad refuses to. I look from my father to my mother to my sister, and finally understand something I should have admitted years ago. This family values peace more than truth. They would rather believe the easy lie than face the ugly reality that their favorite child might be the one holding the match. I see, I say quietly. I don't bother picking up the rest of my scattered things. I zip the suitcase around what's already inside and pull on my jacket. My hands are surprisingly steady. Serena, don't be dramatic, Dad says. You're making a scene. You told me to get out, I remind him, stepping toward the door. The hallway feels longer than it ever has. I can feel the weight of every family argument I've swallowed pressed into the walls. At least admit what you did, he says, desperation creeping into his voice. We're giving you a chance. I pause at the threshold and turn back. Dad is still clutching the money. Mom's eyes are shiny, but her mouth is firmly shut. Kayla's tears have slowed now that the audience is leaving. I've never stolen anything in my life, I say. When you figure that out, you know where to find me. The front door closes with a soft click that feels louder than any slam. Outside, the Springfield summer heat hits me like a wall. The air smells like cut grass and someone's barbecue. I drag my suitcase down the front steps, the wheels bumping against the concrete. There is nowhere to go. I have a job in Denver starting in a week, an apartment lease that begins in 2, and exactly 0 people in this town willing to believe the truth. Somehow that feels less terrifying than going back inside. Hours later, the dashboard clock reads 3:17 a.m. when I jolt awake in the driver's seat of my old car. My neck aches from the awkward angle. I'm parked at the far edge of a gas station lot, under a flickering sodium light that bathes everything in a sickly yellow glow. The air inside the car is stale, thick with heat and the faint smell of old coffee. My stomach growls, a low, hollow ache. I haven't eaten since yesterday morning. I could go inside and buy something cheap, but the idea of walking under those fluorescent lights with my puffy eyes and wrinkled clothes makes my skin crawl. I don't want anyone else in Springfield looking at me like they know something. I grab my phone, not because I expect messages, who would be texting me now, but because scrolling feels better than realizing I'm technically homeless. The screen lights up my face in the dark as I swipe through notifications. Automated emails, store promotions, a calendar reminder for my first day at Ethicor Financial in Denver. Then I see it. Subject, urgent. Suspension of employment offer. From Human Resources, Ethicor Financial. Something cold and heavy sinks to the bottom of my stomach. For a moment, I just stare at the subject line, rereading it until the words blur. Then I tap it open. Dear Miss Vale, we have received a serious ethical complaint regarding your character and professional conduct. In accordance with company policy, your offer of employment has been suspended pending an investigation into these allegations. We will contact you within 5 business days with our decision. Regards, Human Resources, Ethicor Financial. I read it once, twice, a third time. The words don't change. My hands start to shake so badly I have to set the phone down in my lap. This isn't just about $500 or a screaming match in my parents' living room. This is my future, my new life. The city I've been picturing every time my hometown felt too small and too loud with other people's opinions. Gone with one email. Ethical complaint, I whisper. The car feels smaller suddenly, closing in around me. Character and professional conduct. The only people who know about my job offer are my parents, Kayla, a couple of neighbors who overheard, and my favorite professor. My professor wouldn't do this. The neighbors barely know me. That leaves Kayla. The realization hits me so hard I almost choke on it. My mind scrambles back through the last few days, replaying images like someone flipping quickly through Polaroids. Kayla's narrowed eyes when Dad bragged about my job to the neighbors. Her muttered, "Guess you need a whole new wardrobe to look like a city girl." The way she drifted out of my room 2 days ago, when she thought I wasn't looking, my desk drawer slightly open behind her. "Just borrowing a sweater," she'd said, flashing a tight little smile. "You don't mind, do you?" At the time, I'd shrugged it off. I was used to her borrowing things she never returned. I hadn't thought about what else was in that drawer. My offer letter from Ethicor printed on thick paper, HR's direct contact information. My fists clench around the steering wheel. "No," I say aloud, as if I can somehow reject the reality by refusing the word. No, she wouldn't, but she would. She already framed me once. A sound escapes me, halfway between a laugh and a sob. The violation is so complete it makes my chest hurt. Home, family, career. It's like someone found the blueprint of my life and decided to burn it. I fumble for my phone again, scrolling through my contacts until I find Ethicor's HR number. I remember adding it when I first got the offer, excited and terrified. My thumb hesitates only a second before pressing call. The line rings 3 times before forwarding to voicemail. A polished voice instructs me to leave a message. My throat closes up. What am I supposed to say? Hi, I swear I'm not a thief. My little sister just hates me. I hang up without speaking. Try again. Same result. Of course. It's the middle of the night. No one is sitting in an office waiting to reassure the girl whose life is crumbling. I drop the phone onto the passenger seat and press my forehead against the steering wheel. The cold plastic is the only solid thing in my world right now. This isn't fair, a childish part of me whispers. I did everything right. I studied, I worked, I stayed out of trouble, I played the good daughter so hard it became a second skin. And now the girl who lied and cried her way out of every consequence is winning. My stomach twists again, a sour mix of hunger and rage. Outside, the sky is still black, but a faint gray smudge on the horizon hints that dawn is coming, whether I'm ready or not. Okay, I murmur into the silence. My voice sounds different now, hoarse but steadier. Okay. Kayla has already made her move. She planted the money. She called my future employer. She's probably spinning some story right now about how she's heartbroken, but hopes I get the help I need. If I do nothing, this becomes the truth everyone accepts. The lie calcifies into reality. I lift my head and stare out through the windshield at the empty parking lot, the gas pumps, the convenience store with its humming neon sign. I think of the neighbors' whispers, of Dad's disgust, of Mom's silence, of Kayla's perfectly timed sobs. If she can orchestrate all of that, then I can do something too. I don't have a house anymore. I don't know if I still have a job, but I have the one thing she underestimated, the part of me that learned how to build something from nothing, day after day, semester after semester. I wipe my face with the back of my hand, pick up my phone, and open a blank note. If she wants to turn this into a story, I'll give them all the details. Every time she slipped into my room, every coincidence that suddenly isn't, every witness who heard her brag, every email, every call, I will write it all down. Because if my family prefers lies over truth, then I'm going to make sure the truth is strong enough to stand, even if it has to stand alone. The sky is a pale, washed-out gray when I finally lift my head from the steering wheel. Dawn has arrived quietly, without warmth, like a thin sheet laid over the world. My back aches from the cramped position, my mouth dry, my eyes sandpaper raw. I don't know how long I slept, if I slept at all, but the parking lot looks the same as it did hours ago. Empty, humming with the soft buzz of fluorescent lights, smelling faintly of gasoline and burned coffee. The hunger is sharper now, a hollow twist, but I ignore it. My phone is still in my hand, the HR email open on the screen like a wound that won't close. For a moment, I consider calling again, but it's only 6:12 a.m. Ethicor's office won't be open for hours. A few cars pull into the gas station, ordinary people starting ordinary mornings, and I turn my head away, suddenly ashamed of everything. The puffy eyes, the messy hair, the suitcase on the back seat that holds the fragments of my life. I don't want anyone to see me like this. Not in this town. Not where gossip travels faster than daylight. I need something to do. Something that feels like control. So I grab the notebook from my backpack, a half-filled college journal with coffee stains on the cover, and click my pen. I write the date, then the time, then the first line, money found in suitcase, accused of theft, Kayla present. The words look cold on the page, too simple for the chaos they caused. Still, I keep writing. Every detail I can remember. Dad's voice, Kayla's sobs, Mom's silence, the way Kayla paused in her crying, the single crack in her performance. I write down what I saw 2 days ago, her slipping out of my room, the slightly open drawer, her quick excuse. I write everything. By the time the sun edges over the horizon, I've filled 3 pages. At 8:20 a.m. exactly, I dial Ethicor again. This time, a woman answers. Human Resources, this is Patricia. Her voice is clipped, efficient. I swallow hard. Hello, this is Serena Vale. I received an email about my job offer being suspended, and I... Yes, Miss Vale. The way she says my name feels like a verdict already made. We received an anonymous tip with some concerning information about your character. What kind of information? I force my voice to steady. A pause. I'm not at liberty to discuss the specifics. Her tone is careful, clinical. I can hear the practiced neutrality of someone trained not to reveal judgment, but unable to hide it entirely. Those accusations are false, I say. I've never stolen anything. Someone is lying. I understand this is upsetting, she replies, her voice completely unbending. But we take ethical concerns seriously at Ethicor. The investigation is ongoing. I hang up slowly, her words echoing in my head. Ethical concerns. Anonymous tip. Kayla's fingerprints are all over this, even if no one else can see them yet. When I look up, 2 women are standing near pump 3, pointing in my direction. At first, I think I'm imagining it. Then I recognize them. Sarah Mills and Jennifer Baker, high school royalty, queens of hallway gossip. Jennifer nudges Sarah, and I hear her stage whisper float across the asphalt. That's her, the Tate girl, stole from her own sister for interview clothes. I always knew she acted too perfect, Sarah replies. Guess we finally know why. They laugh, light, careless, a sound I used to hear behind me in hallways and assume wasn't about me. Now I know better. I roll up the window, but it's too late. Their words cling to my skin like smoke. Inside the gas station bathroom, the fluorescent lights are unforgiving. My reflection startles me. Pale face, smudged makeup, dark circles that look like bruises. I splash water on my cheeks, breathing through the sting. This isn't me, I whisper, then. But this is where I am. Back in the car, my phone buzzes. A call. I expect it to be HR again, but the name on the screen makes my heart jolt. Aunt Lucky. My throat tightens with relief so sudden it almost hurts. Hello? My voice cracks. Serena? Her voice is warm, familiar, grounded. Sweetheart, I've been hearing some strange things. Want to tell me what's going on? That's all it takes. The dam breaks. I tell her everything. The planted money, Dad's rage, Kayla's crocodile tears, being kicked out, the HR email that shattered the future I'd been building piece by piece. My voice shakes so badly at times I have to stop and breathe. When I finish, the line is quiet for a moment. Then, Serena, she says firmly, I've known you your whole life. You wouldn't steal a penny if it wasn't yours. Now, where are you staying? I hesitate. Shame is a heavy thing. My car, I whisper, at the Quick Trip on Glenstone. There's an inhale on the other end, sharp and disbelieving. Absolutely not. You're coming to my house right now. I don't want to be a burden, I say, though the thought of a bed and a hot meal makes my vision blur with longing. Sweetheart, listen to me. Her tone softens, but the steel in it remains. Anyone who thinks you're a thief is not family worth worrying about. Come home. Home. The word knocks the breath out of me. My real home hasn't been my parents' house for a long time. Not really. It's wherever someone believes me. When I pull into Aunt Lucky's driveway, the porch light is already on. She opens the door before I even knock, pulling me into her arms. I don't realize how tightly I'm holding her until she murmurs, It's okay. You're safe. Inside, she sits me at the kitchen table and puts a plate of scrambled eggs and toast in front of me. I eat so fast I barely taste it. She watches, brows knitted with worry. After a hot shower and borrowed pajamas, I sit on her bed, one of those guest room beds with crisp sheets and a soft quilt that smells like lavender, and stare at the ceiling. Exhaustion pulls at me, but my mind is too full. The HR email, Kayla's smug tears, Dad's fury, Mom's silence. I finally fall asleep, dreamless and heavy. When I wake, it's nearly noon. Aunt Lucky is at the table, reading a stack of mail. She pushes a mug of tea toward me. Drink, then we work. Work? I croak. She pats the seat beside her. Truth doesn't need to be loud, she says, meeting my eyes. It just needs to be strong enough to stand firm amidst the lies. So let's get the truth written down. For the next several hours, we build a timeline. Every detail, every event, every inconsistency in Kayla's performance, every possible witness. I speak. She writes. The more we record, the more the fog around me lifts. Later that evening, I type a formal email to Ethicor's HR department. Measured, professional, detailed. I attach references from 2 professors and my former supervisor. As I hit send, my hands shake. But not from fear, from something else, something like determination. The response comes sooner than expected. An email saying they'll postpone their final decision until a more thorough investigation is done. Not a victory, but not defeat either. When my phone rings again, it's Dad. His voicemail is predictable. Disappointment. Blame. A command to come home and stop this nonsense. No apology, no acknowledgement that any part of this might not be my fault. Then Kayla calls Aunt Lucky, pretending concern. She's been acting strange, she says sweetly, taking things that don't belong to her. I grip my teeth so tightly my hand aches. The smearing of my name has already begun. But this time I'm not alone, and I'm not backing down. By Monday morning, Aunt Lucky has transformed her dining table into a command center. My notebook lies open beside her yellow legal pad, pens scattered everywhere, pages filled with dates, times, observations I hadn't realized I remembered until she coaxed them out of me. Now, she says, sliding her reading glasses down her nose, let's talk about what happens if you run into them. I raise an eyebrow. Them? As in, all of them? Her lips twitch. This is Springfield. You could bump into any Tate within a 5-mile radius at any time. We need to prepare. She's not wrong. Small towns have a way of shrinking even further when you're trying to avoid someone. She clears her throat and straightens her shoulders. I'll be Kayla first. She blinks rapidly, widening her eyes with exaggerated innocence. Oh my gosh, Serena, I just wanted to check on you. Everyone's worried. I choke on a laugh to spite myself. Too much hair toss. Kayla only does the dramatic toss when she's trying to flirt. Noted, she says, smoothing her hair again and shifting into a sweeter, more fragile tone. I'm just so confused and upset. Why are you saying these awful things about me? It's unsettling how accurate she suddenly becomes. That little tremor at the end, the self-pitying quiver, the way she makes herself the victim in every situation. Now, Aunt Lucky says, your turn. My throat tightens. I know what you did, Kayla, all of it. The words taste sharper than I expect. And soon everyone else will too. She nods approvingly. Good. Facts, no anger. Emotional outbursts make you look unstable. Facts make you look credible. We switch roles again and again. Mom, Dad, neighbors, coworkers, random people at the grocery store. Some scenarios feel ridiculous. Others feel too close to reality. But with each repetition, something in my chest loosens. I feel less like prey and more like someone learning how to defend herself. Around noon, I head to Marshall's grocery to pick up things for the chicken stew Aunt Lucky wants to make. The air inside is cool and smells faintly of citrus cleaner. I walk through the aisles with a purpose, focusing on the list she gave me. But the universe has a cruel sense of timing. I'm comparing pasta prices when a voice behind me says my name. Serena? I freeze. I turn slowly. Kayla stands at the end of the aisle, a basket looped over one arm. She looks surprised to see me, though there's a flicker in her eyes that tells me she expected this moment, or orchestrated it. Wow, she says, stepping closer. I told Dad not to be so hard on you. Her voice rises just enough for the elderly couple nearby to hear. Everyone makes mistakes. My eyebrows lift. She's performing again, feeding the narrative, playing the benevolent sister. People around us glance over, recognition dawning on their faces. I see curiosity, judgment, pity. Kayla's favorite audience. Aunt Lucky's voice echoes in my head. Calm facts, no emotions. You win by staying steady. I take a quiet breath. I know what you did, Kayla. Her smile freezes, just a fraction of a second, but I catch it. What are you talking about? Her voice wavers, barely, before she steadies it. Serena, you're not making sense. The money, the call to HR, all of it. I place the pasta into my basket, and soon everyone else will know too. The color drains from her face. She opens her mouth, but only a stuttered, "You're just trying to blame me for," comes out. I walk away before she can finish. Behind me, I hear her scrambling to recover her performance. She's just confused, she calls out loudly, for the benefit of the tomato sauce couple. She's going through a lot. But her voice trembles now. For the first time since this nightmare started, her mask slips, and mine holds steady. When I return to the house, my phone vibrates in my pocket. An unfamiliar number. I answer hesitantly. Serena, it's Lindsay. Lindsay. High school friend. On and off acquaintance. The kind of girl who always meant well, but never wanted to be caught in drama. My heart thumps hard. I have to tell you something, she says without pausing for small talk. Kayla was at a party last weekend at the Millers. My little brother was there. He heard her bragging to a group of people. I stop walking. Bragging about what? My voice is barely a whisper. That she set you up, Lindsay says. That she planted the money to teach you a lesson. Those were her exact words. A hot wave of nausea rolls through me. Even when I suspected it, hearing it spoken out loud feels like being punched. She admitted it, I manage. Not just admitted, she laughed about it. Jason said she found it hilarious. Thought you'd have to come crawling back once your job offer fell through. My knees nearly buckle. Lindsay continues, her tone urgent now. I can tell people what I heard. This isn't right, Serena. My eyes sting. Thank you, I whisper. After the call ends, I walk into the kitchen where Aunt Lucky is chopping carrots. She looks up, reads my expression in an instant, and sets the knife down. What did you find out? She bragged about it, I say, sinking into a chair. To multiple people. She laughed. A shadow crosses Aunt Lucky's face. Not anger, but something deeper. Grief for a family she knew long before I was born. Then we need her words, in writing or recorded, and we add it to your timeline. I nod, wiping my eyes. HR needs to see everything. We spend the next hour drafting a new document. I write out Lindsay's statement in clean, straightforward language. Then, with trembling hands, I email HR again, this time attaching the new evidence. As the message sends, a quiet resolve settles in me. I'm not just defending myself anymore. I'm building a case. Later that night, after dinner and 2 cups of tea, I sit at the kitchen table long after Aunt Lucky has gone to bed. The house is quiet except for the soft tick of the wall clock. My pen moves across the page almost on its own. Planted money, fraudulent accusation, anonymous call to employer, witness confirmation, documented timeline. Each word feels like a brick laid in a foundation I didn't know I had the right to build. My phone sits beside me, its screen lit with the email I sent to HR. The weight of everything presses down on me. My parents' betrayal, Kayla's cruelty, the uncertainty of my future, but beneath it all, something new is growing. Strength, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need to be loud to be real. I close the notebook, feeling my heartbeat settle into a steady rhythm. The job? Still in jeopardy. My reputation? Hanging by a thread. My family. A painful question mark. But for the first time, I'm not waiting for anyone else to save me. Tomorrow I'll start packing for Denver. Whether Ethicor keeps me or not, I'm going. I refuse to let my hometown bury me. Let them gossip. Let them whisper. Let them wonder why Kayla looks so pale whenever someone mentions the party. The truth is coming for all of them. And for once, I'm not afraid of the fallout. 3 days later, I'm pouring coffee into a chipped ceramic mug in Aunt Lucky's kitchen when my phone buzzes with an email notification. The subject line freezes me mid-pour. Ethicor Financial. Additional requirement for final decision. My stomach knots. I tap the screen with trembling fingers. Miss Vale, we have reviewed the documents provided and spoken with several references. Before proceeding with our final decision, we require a character reference from an immediate family member. Please submit this by tomorrow at 12 p.m. CST. Thank you, Human Resources. Immediate family. Mom, Dad, Kayla. I grip the edge of the counter so hard the mug nearly slips. A sound escapes me, half laugh, half disbelief. They're doing what? Aunt Lucky asks, stepping out of the pantry with a box of tea bags. They need a character reference from a family member, I whisper. One of them. Her eyebrows shoot up, then narrow with sharp understanding. They're testing you. They want to see if your family stands behind you. They won't, I say, the words landing like stones. Not willingly. Not unless the truth is forced into the open. Aunt Lucky studies me for a long moment. Then maybe it's time to force it. Something inside me clicks. A quiet, unmistakable shift. Call them, I say. Tell them to come here tonight. All 3 of them, 7 o'clock. Her gaze sharpens. Serena, this won't be easy. When has anything with them ever been easy? My voice doesn't tremble. That alone feels like a victory. The hours leading up to 7 feel timeless, suspended in an anxious hum. I rehearse the facts, the evidence, the recordings. I arrange everything on the dining table, my notebook, the printed emails from HR, Lindsay's statement, the timeline. Each piece feels like a brick in a wall I'm finally strong enough to stand behind. At exactly 6:54 p.m., headlights sweep across the living room curtains. Gravel crunches under tires. I hear car doors close. 3 of them. My pulse hammers, but I inhale slowly. Aunt Lucky squeezes my shoulder. You're ready. I nod, even even though my hands are cold. The doorbell rings. I open the door to see my mother first. Celeste looks smaller than I remember, shoulders slightly rounded, her face drained of its usual practiced calm. Behind her stands Dad, stiff-backed, chin raised defensively. Kayla lingers a few steps behind them, eyes rimmed with redness, but too precisely smudged to be natural. "Thank you for coming," I say. "We didn't have much of a choice," Dad mutters, pushing past me into the house. "Then let's sit," I reply. My voice is steady, controlled, not a plea, not a daughter asking for mercy. A woman presenting evidence. They sit across from me, the three of them lined up like a jury that has already made its decision. I stand on the opposite side of the table. Dad clears his throat. "Serena, this has gone far enough. You need to stop spreading these accusations. You're tearing this family apart." I hold up a hand. "We're not doing that tonight. HR called. They need a character reference to finalize my job investigation. Immediate family only." Kayla's eyes go wide. "From one of us?" "Yes." I meet her gaze. "And before any of you agree, or refuse, I want you all to know exactly what HR already knows." I press play on my phone. Lindsay's recorded statement fills the room. Her voice is steady as she repeats her brother's words. Kayla bragging at the Millers' party, teaching me humility, planting the money, laughing about how I'd have to crawl back. With each sentence, my sister's face drains color. Dad's jaw clenches harder. Mom's hand flies to her mouth. When the recording ends, the silence is so thick it feels like a physical weight pressing on my chest. Dad is the first to speak. "You recorded someone talking about your sister? That's..." "True," I interrupt, "and you're about to hear more." I slide the printed emails across the table. Mom lifts one with trembling hands. Her eyes skim the words. When she looks up, her expression is stunned, frightened even. She called your employer?" Celeste's voice cracks. Kayla's throat moves in a swallow, then another. I didn't... Mom, they misunderstood. People twist things." "Kayla," Dad says sharply. "Stop." I study his face. There's something there I haven't seen before. Not anger. Not blind certainty. Doubt. Mom sets the paper down. "All of it," she says softly. "Tell us all of it." Kayla's lower lip trembles. She looks from Mom to Dad to me. "I didn't mean for it to get this far," she whispers. I just wanted..." "The truth," I say quietly. "Say the truth." She closes her eyes. "I took the money," she whispers. "I put it in your suitcase." The admission hits harder than I expect. Not because I didn't know, but because hearing the words out loud tears something open inside me. Dad inhales sharply. Mom lets out a soft, broken sound. "And the call?" I press, voice steady. Kayla shakes her head, tears spilling. "I didn't think they'd take it seriously. Dad and Mom kept talking about your job and how proud they were, and everyone loves you, Serena. Everyone always has." "Kayla," Mom's voice isn't soft this time. "The call." A long pause. "Yes," she finally says. "I called HR." Dad slams a fist onto the table. The sound cracks through the room like a gunshot. Mom flinches. "You what?" he demands. Kayla sobs harder. "I just wanted her to stay. I didn't want her leaving for Denver and forgetting about us." "Us?" I whisper. "Or you?" Kayla wails into her hands. Dad sinks back into his chair, stunned. Mom closes her eyes, shoulders trembling. The moment stretches into something unrecognizable, raw, painful, irreversible. "So," I say, voice quiet but unwavering. "Before noon tomorrow, HR needs a family character reference. If they don't get one, they revoke my offer." Silence. Then Mom reaches for her phone. Her fingers hover only a second before she types something with quick, decisive taps. She turns the screen around. A public post, already published. "We were wrong. Our youngest daughter, Kayla, lied about Serena stealing. Serena is innocent. We are deeply sorry for not believing her." Dad stares at the phone, stunned. Kayla gasps as if struck. "You posted that?" she whispers, horrified. "It's the truth," Mom says. Before Kayla can protest, Mom steps into the hallway and dials a number. We all hear her voice, calm, clear, resolute, speaking to HR, explaining everything, sending the post, explicitly vouching for my character. When she returns, she hands Dad the phone. He hesitates, pride warring with shame, with something heavier, something like regret. Finally, he lifts the phone to his ear. "This is Owen Vale," he says, voice rough. "My daughter Serena has always been honest and hardworking. The accusations against her were false. I should have known better." Kayla breaks into silent sobs. Dad doesn't comfort her. Mom doesn't move. The hierarchy that shaped our entire lives crumbles in real time. And I sit there, not triumphant, not defeated, just changed. When they finally leave, the house feels too quiet. Aunt Lucky wraps an arm around my shoulders. You did what you needed to do. I exhale slowly. They won't forget this. No, she agrees, and neither will you. But it's not fear that fills me. It's relief. For the first time in my life, the truth didn't need to whisper. It stood firm, and everyone heard it. The Monday morning sun filters through sheer curtains, soft as a whispered promise. My new Denver apartment is still half unpacked, boxes stacked neatly along the wall, clothes folded in piles on the bed, but the light makes everything look gentler, like even the mess is part of something hopeful. I smooth the collar of my blouse and run my fingertips along the edge of my brand new desk. It still amazes me that this space belongs to me. No Kayla lurking around the corner with a snide comment. No dad pacing nearby, ready to judge every choice. No mom silently weighing the cost of speaking up. Just 4 clean walls and a city humming outside. I settle into the small balcony chair, adjusting my pencil skirt, feeling the crisp air brush my skin. I've just survived my first full day at the financial firm. Orientation, training modules, meeting my team, and even though I stumbled twice and spilled coffee on my notebook, I made it through. My supervisor told me I showed excellent analytical instincts. The words replay in my head like a melody I'm not used to hearing. Then my phone rings. A familiar name appears. Mom. I consider letting it go to voicemail. Old habits tug at me. Anticipation, dread, longing. But I exhale slowly and answer. Hi, Mom. Sweetheart, she says, her voice softer than I've heard in years. How was your first day? I lean back. For the first time, I decide not to gloss over the hard parts. It was challenging. I got lost twice, spilled coffee during orientation, and I felt overwhelmed at the end of the day. A soft breath comes through the line. Surprise, maybe even relief. Thank you, she says, for telling me honestly. I'm trying something new, I admit. No more sugarcoating. I deserve that, she says quietly. And Serena, I'm proud of you. Not because you got this job, but because you stood up for yourself. Her words land gently, like a hand on my shoulder. I don't cry, though I feel something warm bloom in my chest. Something like forgiveness, but not quite. Not yet. After we hang up, I water the little plant on the windowsill, the one Aunt Lucky sent as a housewarming gift. Rosemary. She said it symbolized remembrance and protection. It smells like her kitchen back in Springfield, like safety. The apartment settles into evening silence. I slice an apple, arrange crackers and cheese on a plate, and carry it back to the balcony. Below me, the Denver traffic flows steadily, indifferent to small-town gossip and family scandals. The anonymity is comforting. No one here knows me as the girl accused of stealing. No one looks at me with suspicion or pity. I'm just Serena, a new hire, a woman building her life. I take a bite of apple just as my phone buzzes with another message. This time, it's from Kayla. Everyone keeps asking where you are. It's annoying. I stare at the screen for a long moment. The old me, the peacekeeper, would have replied immediately, apologizing for the inconvenience, smoothing the edges. But that girl is gone, or maybe she's growing into someone who understands she doesn't have to carry everyone else's emotions. I set the phone aside. 20 minutes later, it buzzes again. I miss you. Can we talk sometime? There's no apology in the message, no ownership, just need, always need. I type several responses, erase them all. Then I finally send the only thing that feels true. I'm open to talking in a few months when I'm ready. I hit send before I can overthink it. No guilt, no fear, just a boundary. The sky deepens into twilight, turning the buildings into silhouettes. I take a long breath, savoring the crisp air. A text pops up from Lindsay. Just booked my flight for next weekend. Can't wait to see your new place. For the first time in days, I genuinely smile. She's coming. A friend who believed me. Someone whose loyalty wasn't conditional on family narratives. I stand and walk inside. The apartment is quiet but full in a way my parents' house never was. I open one of the moving boxes labeled bedside drawer and pull out my journal. The cover is bent, the pages still wrinkled from years of carrying it everywhere like armor. I sit cross-legged on the rug and write, "Truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be strong enough to stand firm amidst the lies." Aunt Lucky's words. But tonight, they feel like mine too. As I write, my thoughts drift back to her dining room. The table covered with papers, the air thick with tension, Mom's shaking voice as she told HR the truth, Dad's rough admission, Kayla's confession, tears smearing her mascara in real streaks instead of rehearsed ones. I replay the moment Mom read her public apology out loud. The weight of it, the shift in her voice, the way the room changed. Not healed, no, that kind of wound doesn't heal in a day, but altered. I close the journal and rest my palm on the cover. Healing won't come immediately. Maybe it won't come fully. Some relationships can be repaired, some can only be managed, and some can only be survived. But I no longer need my family's validation to know who I am. When I signed my apartment lease last week, the property manager handed me the keys and said, "Welcome home." I didn't realize how deeply I'd needed to hear those words from someone, anyone, until right then. Tonight, as I move through my quiet little Denver space, arranging the books I love on a modest shelf, placing my framed diploma on my desk, folding one last stack of clothes, I feel something settle inside me. Something steady, something earned. My parents will visit next month. We've already set boundaries, hotel instead of staying with me, 2 days max, no surprise drop-ins, and no bringing family drama across state lines. They agreed, not with reluctance, but with an understanding I wasn't sure we would ever reach. Maybe they're learning too. Or maybe I'm finally giving them the chance. My phone buzzes again. Mom sending a picture of a casserole she made, something she insists she'll bring on their visit. I smile and type back a simple thank you. The words feel clean, not heavy. Standing at the window, watching the city lights blink awake, I think about the girl I was only 2 weeks ago. The girl who knelt on her parents' living room floor, surrounded by scattered clothes and accusations. The girl who slept in a car, feeling the world cave in. I think about the girl who walked away, not quietly, not loudly, but firmly. And I realize something. I'm not her anymore. I'm someone who carries truth like a spine. Someone who doesn't bend to fit a story designed by others. Someone who knows the difference between loyalty and self-sacrifice. Someone who can build a future without needing to fix the past first. My name is Serena Vale, daughter, sister, niece, friend, analyst, survivor, and creator of my own future. For the first time in my life, that feels like enough. I turn off the balcony light and step inside, letting the door click softly behind me. Tomorrow is another day in a city where no one knows who I was, only who I choose to be. And I choose to stand firm.